On most ground strokes, so forehands and backhands, you want to try to coordinate your shoulder turn with your first step. So if I'm moving to my left, I'm going to turn as I take that first step. I'm starting the turn. So it's good to get used to practicing this. It's also good to get used to practicing the same thing with a crossover step, because there's different footwork patterns for different situations. But what I don't want to do is run to the ball and then start turning later, because then I'm in a rush. And so it's important that I coordinate. This foot goes out, my hips turn, my shoulders turn, paddle goes back, all in one motion, so that when I'm moving to the ball, I've already started the turning process, and then I can be nice and relaxed on my swing. So I turn, and then I start moving to the ball. Turn. Notice I've started the process of turning right on step number 1. What happens if I don't do that is I'm going to be a lot more rushed on my swing. So say I just run and then later I turn. Now I'm going to be more inconsistent because I'm having to swing too fast. Turn, go to the ball, hit. Same thing if I'm moving forward, if I don't have to move forward very far. So this would either be for a footwork pattern where I'm just taking 1 step and then hitting, or also if I'm taking 3 steps, so I'm turning, stepping, and then hitting. But if it's more than 3 steps, that's when it's okay not to turn first, because the priority on getting to a shorter ball is making it there in time and then turning if it's warranted later. So I turn and hit. But notice that my foot comes around and my paddle goes back, and that's assisted by my non-dominant hand on the paddle. Versus if I turn too late, now I'm in a rush and I'm out of control. When people overhit the ball, it's often because they're not relaxed when they're hitting. So by turning early, that allows me to be in a very relaxed position when I'm hitting the ball. So practice this move on your forehand side where you're coordinating your turn with your step, or coordinating your turn with your step forward, and then do the same thing on the backhand side. So here I'm gonna hit some short backhands where I'm turning as I start my step. So foot, hips, and shoulders, all turning at the same time. If the ball's a little shorter, same thing. Notice I'm still turning my shoulders on my first step. Same thing if I'm moving to my right, I'm coordinating this step out and shoulder turn. Notice the hips also turn, so I don't want to step out like this, because then that prevents me from being able to turn my hips. But I'm turning everything on my first step. Some situations you might do a crossover step first. Same thing where I'm turning everything on the first step. Good. Turn, step,